Hi, this is Amy Spears, and this is my peer journal critique. I chose to do off the journal Education and Training in Autism and Developmental Disabilities, Volume 51. The name of the article was Effects of a Peer Medicated Intervention on Social Interactions of Students with Low Functioning Autism and the Perceptions of the Typical Peers. And this was by Bowie and Simpson. The problem that they stated into this article is that whether or not inclusion leads to better social capability for students with autism. As at this time, there wasn't a whole lot of research done on low functioning autism and the benefits of the social skills. And since social interaction is different with high functioning autism and low functioning autism, it led to believe that the benefit of having social interaction would be different also. Is it really beneficial for low functioning autism to be in a social gathering or social interactions compared to the high functioning autism? Does it lead to more behaviors, anxiety, etc.? And what does that affect with the regular ed peers? Does it help? So this one here, the method that they did a share reading intervention with low functioning autism and their regular ed peers. They took an elementary school that's in the suburb, and they had 24 students in the classroom. And then they had 8 students with low functioning autism that ranged from age 5 to 8. And the regular ed classroom was second grade. What they did was they put them into 4 random groups, 3 of regular ed students with 1 low functioning autism student. Then they took 4 of the groups and selected them off of parental consent to collect the data. They also had interventions put into the groups or into the meeting, the reading, that were teacher-led questions to help the students interact and respond. The interventions were the same for all the groups. The results showed that visual results showed that the data did not support a consistent change from the baseline data for the students with low functioning autism. It showed that there was not a consistent change for these students when the intervention was introduced either. There was a slight increase with the interventions, 3 out of 4 of the students, when their regular ed peers engaged with them, but the data showed that it was not consistent and it was not as strong as they initially thought that it would be. One student with low functioning autism showed no relationship with the interventions or the baseline data to the response of his peers. The data did show that the peers without low functioning autism did increase their social interactions with the students that had low functioning autism. They when they were interviewed after the group was done, they spoke very highly and fondly of their peers with low functioning autism, how they enjoyed to read with them, how they enjoyed interacting, and how they considered them their friends now. And they gave examples of how they would be friends at school. They would talk to their new friends at school. And so it did increase their social interactions with the low functioning autism students. I thought that this study was important because there are many students with low functioning autism that are not included with their peers at school, even with inclusion. And on the outside the school setting, that probably even lowers even more. Many of the students have social anxiety, low social skills, lower communication skills, which lead to all the others, and also behaviors that hinder social interaction with their peers. So I found out that this type of study showed that social interaction helped our students with low functioning autism was pretty interesting to me. What I found that this study was lacking was my experience with low function autism is that social interactions are hard for them, whether it be in the school setting or in a outside the school setting or a social interaction like a reading group. Most of the students need some type of prep, some type of expectation of this type of engagement. So I was kind of wondering what would happen if we prepped our students, this not so much what they're going to say or how to interact, but this is what's going on in this group. We're going to be doing it for 30 minutes. And then not have the group for just one time, but over a month-long period, and see if the interactions with the low-functioning autism would actually increase or would they stay at baseline. That's what I thought would be the data would show or they would do in this study instead of just a one-time group with low-functioning autism and regular peers, and then see if their interaction happened, if they asked them questions or that type of setting. So that's the only thing I thought was lacking, or what I would have done different if I was to do this type of study, was just to do it over a period of time and see if prepping the student would help do a baseline data with no prep, and then seeing if prepping the students or having them understand the expectations of the group would help their social interactions with non-autistic peers.